Ooh, going live. The live stream is live. Wow, there's already 3 people. Wait, how's that possible? There's 4 people and there's 8 likes. Oh, you guys got in here fast. Anyways, first of all, let me know. Well, first of all, hey everyone, how's it going? Thank you for tuning in. Let me know how the audio sounds because I have these headphones, but they're really wishy-washy. Sometimes the audio works and other times it doesn't work. So let me know if the audio sounds all right. If it sounds the same when I'm this far away, or if it's just using the microphone built into the camera. Hey everyone, 99 viewers. Oh my gosh. Wow. Audio is good, good. Audio sounds good. Okay, that is great. Because sometimes I'll start a live stream and then 10, 20 minutes later into it, I'll realize I was accidentally using the audio from the phone. I'll be like, oh, I totally messed up. I should have checked and made sure I was using this one. So now when I start a stream, I'll double check with you guys and make sure the sound is all good. Wow, the comments are flying by. So this is just a spontaneous live stream, as the title says. And I like to think of live streams as more as just like a hangout. So I'm hanging out here. You guys are all there. I get to talk with you guys, answer questions. Not really like we're just going to sit here like this and just answer questions in a specific way. It's more of just like a free flow. I don't know. We'll see. So as I normally do in live streams, answer questions, and then if someone has a question, I can answer it, and then sometimes you guys get more questions from the answer that I gave to that question. So yeah, should be a fun stream. Let's see. Oh my gosh, there's so many comments. They're flying by too fast. Okay. Well, Lola Smith asks, should I move to Hawaii or Costa Rica? Well, I cannot give you an answer to that because I have never lived or visited Hawaii, so I don't know what it's like to live there. I've only lived in Costa Rica, and personally, I love it here. If you don't like bugs very much, then it may not be the place for you. But personally, I enjoy the different bugs and insects and like searching for bugs and stuff under wood and under rocks. So for me, I definitely enjoy it down here. But it definitely depends on what type of place you're looking to visit or looking to live. Like what type of setting, what type of weather, and all that stuff. Javin Swint, what's your favorite app? The YouTube app. The YouTube app is pretty cool because I can go and look at my own channel. I can do these live streams, so without the YouTube app, I wouldn't be able to do this. And I can also go and watch YouTube videos from other YouTubers that I enjoy watching. Mostly ones just like about adventuring or outdoors, camping, and also some channels that talk about camera equipment and new techie gear that's coming out. So YouTube app for sure. The real wee guy. On the days where you go out and about on a long adventure vlogs, how far do you usually travel? Of course, each adventure I travel a different amount of distance, but sometimes to get to the point where I would say the actual adventure, of course, I try to think of everything as the adventure, but where like the actual exploring from here on I've never been, probably sometimes I'll go anywhere between 20 minutes to an hour. Because sometimes I'll be maybe at a friend's house, which is a few hours away from where I live, and then we'll adventure from there. So on average, probably at least 20 minutes to an hour or so. Ari Martinez and Josh Capuno, right next to each other, ask how old am I? I'm 15. Miguel Garcia, will you get the DJI Spark? I don't know. I'm most likely, if I were to get a drone, I'd most likely go for the Mavic because the video quality is better. It has a 3-axis gimbal, and when it's all folded up, it's not that much bigger than the Spark. The Spark seems like it could be cool for sometimes, but the fact that it's only a 2-axis gimbal means the footage isn't going to be as stable And yeah, I don't know. I'm not thinking about getting it, but you know, it would be cool to try out and test and just see how it flies. Mr. Gamer, do you have a survival bracelet? I do have a survival bracelet. I actually have a few of them which have been sent to me from a few different people. And yeah, most of them just like this paracord bracelet. Some of them have like a fire starter and a whistle and a few different cool things. And I think survival bracelets are pretty cool, but personally I never wear them on my wrist because to me they seem to be fairly clunky and kind of irritate me. But I like having one in my bag. So if I were to it's just cool having that extra paracord, extra cord. It's just like bundled up nicely, because if it's just bundled up there, you're going to try to not use it, but then if you really need it, then you will use it. But I like to keep one in my bag. Alex the Random Kid, what pet do you prefer? I have only ever had dogs as pets, and they've always been boxers. So I've never had a cat. I'm not sure what it's like to have a cat. A few of my friends, they have cats, and they seem, sometimes, from what I've seen, sometimes they can be really friendly, like they just want to come and rub against you. And other times, you try to get close to them, and you try to pet them, be friendly, and they just run away from you. You can't get to them. So, yeah, so far I've only had dogs. Oh, Madliar, how can you live stream with a camera, not a webcam? Do you use an HDMI cable? So I'm not sure if you're like asking me, but for this stream, all I'm using is my smartphone and the camera, the selfie camera, which is built into it. So I have my G7X here, which shoots much better video than my phone's camera because it's designated to just being a camera. But from what I've seen, you have to get these adapters and all this stuff, and maybe have your computer to be able to stream from your camera. So it's always just been a lot easier to just use my smartphone. Whoa. Let me see. 1 second. A super chat from Planet Milo. Hey, Planet Milo, thank you so much for the super chat. We love supporting you and watch your growth. Any interesting ideas or changes for your channel in the near future? Well, first of all, let me cover what is a super chat. So a super chat, you can basically pledge or support money while I'm doing the live stream, and then your message or your comment will be pushed to the top, and I will for sure definitely answer it. And it's super appreciated if you do support me with super chat. So thanks, Planet Milo. And Planet Milo, I checked out your YouTube channel. You got some pretty funny videos there. So nice, and thanks. Logan Bardinius, what's your favorite camera that you have and why? Let's see. Put some thought into this one. Well, obviously it depends, but everything is like, oh, it depends what situation, but then that's not really like an answer. You're like, okay, I get that it depends, but like if you could just choose one. So I have a DSLR, but it's with a lens, and if I want to have a microphone, it gives me better quality, but it's a bit clunkier. Now, with the G7X, this thing is tiny. Look how thin that is. I can actually fit this in my pocket. It's not like this camera I could fit in my pocket if I had a really big pocket. This could fit in pretty much any of my pockets. So this I like because I can climb up a tree and put this in my pocket and climb up there and get this shot that I wouldn't dare to do with my DSLR. Because with the DSLR, I would feel so uncomfortable climbing up, holding it, and I'd be afraid to drop it. Whereas with this, I can easily climb up there and get a cool perspective. So from the few different cameras I have, the G7X would definitely be my most favorite. Now, if I'm gonna be sitting somewhere just doing a talking, I'm not gonna be moving around, climbing over this and jumping over that. DSLR with an external microphone, with a lens, for sure gonna get better video. And because the audio is gonna be better. So if I'm just gonna be sitting here doing a talking video, DSLR most definitely. But for out and about, the little point and shoot definitely works good. And I found that my smartphone does better slow-mos than this. So this is a great camera, super great in low light, does 60 frames per second, which is fairly good. But this, my iPhone 5, can do like 120 frames per second and do a crazy awesome slow-mo. So sometimes when I want to get a cool slow-mo, I'll use my smartphone for the slow-mos. Now, since I have this, I'll use this, but for certain shots, the smartphone actually works better. Especially, I find that phones can do some pretty good time lapses, because you just like tell it time lapse and you set it up and it does its thing. You don't have a bunch of pictures, or you don't have 20, 30-minute video that you have to compress. The phone just does it all, so that can be pretty cool. Logan K Vlogs, G7X or G7X Mark II, which do you prefer? Of course, I would prefer having the G7X Mark II. A few different reasons. It has a few little perks that make it better than the first generation one, which is the one that I have, which is still very great. One of the things I really like about the Mark II, from what I've heard and seen, is that you can charge it via USB. So you can pop the little door, I believe, on the side open. You can plug a little thing in, plug it into USB. So I could set up the G7X doing a time lapse and have it charging at the same time. At the moment with the Mark I, to charge it, you have to take the battery out and charge the actual battery. So if you have multiple batteries, you can swap them out. But it would be really cool. You could get some really nice long time lapses being able to charge your camera while it's filming. So that was one of the things I like about the Mark II. And overall, it seems like a bit of a better camera, but you know, it's not at the moment for the price, and then for the little bit better that you'd get. For the moment, it's not. I don't see a need to get it, but in the future, one day when I get a chance to, most definitely. Patrice Molin, what lens do you recommend for cinematic shots around the $200 to $300 range? Well, I know you can get some pretty interesting shots with some 50mm lens, but I don't have a 50mm lens that has like a super low aperture or f-stop, so I can get like some super shallow, some super nice blurry bokeh backgrounds. But a lens that I have that I find myself being able to get some pretty interesting shots is a wide-angle lens, which is a 10 to 18, and it's made by Canon. I believe it's only maybe $200 or so. So compared to some lenses that are out there, it's definitely cheap compared to some other ones. And it has image stabilization. But what I find cool about the wide-angle lens is I can get like really close to stuff like plants or leaves, and it feels like it's almost like flying past you, and you can be moving at not too fast of a speed. But because of the wide-angleness, it makes it feel like you're just like flying through here super quickly. I'm sure there's some great lenses that are cinematic, but I haven't tried too many. I've only tried like a wide-angle lens and then a 18 to 135, and I feel it's not like this lens gives you cinematic shots. It's more about how you use it, the angles that you get, the settings, and the movement. It's more about that, in my opinion. Latif the Player. Atua, how did you get successful on YouTube, and can you help me? There's no definition to this is the exact way to be successful, and it totally depends on what you consider successful. But when you start, you shouldn't be starting because you just want to get subscribers or get views. When I started, I did it so I could film my adventures, look back, and then because I wasn't trying to get subscribers, I was just filming what I was doing. People seemed to started to follow me, and then it kind of grew from there. But stuff like being consistent, not going, I feel sometimes if you go a really long amount of time without putting up any videos, like you put up a ton of videos and then you just go a super long amount of time, you go a long amount of time without putting up videos, then people might be like, I'm gonna unsubscribe, this person doesn't really put up videos. Okay, took care of that. Fletcher Vlogs. What made you love nature? I've always liked being out in the jungle and nature, and I mean, I don't know, it just kind of has always been something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy going out and just looking at plants and just like searching for something interesting. Sometimes you'll see this ordinary plant, and then you look closely, you notice there's like this super cool caterpillar like on the bottom of a leaf hanging out there that you wouldn't have noticed if you just like moved past it. So, uh-oh, very bad connection. I'm not sure what happened with the internet connection. Let me know, guys, if you can still, if the connection's all right. But on my end, it's saying very bad connection. Electric Ray. Is it always hot where you live? And do you play any water sports? Thanks. Love the videos. So there's kind of two seasons. There's 2 times of the year. There's the rainy season and the dry season. The dry season, really dry, as you'd think. A lot of the plants a lot of the trees lose all their leaves. It's way dustier. The sun is always out, which can be a really nice thing, but also it's way hotter out. Right now we're in the rainy season, so as you can see, there's these plants have nice green leaves compared to the dry season. And so the whole there's times in the year where it's hot, but there's a lot of times in the year where it's not too hot. Daily Jenny, you're buffering. The connection is still okay. Alika Lotter, what tripod do you use? So the tripod I use pretty much the most is actually holding my phone up right now so that it's not like all shaky around. But I will give you guys a quick look at this tripod, and then, well, first I'll talk about why I like this tripod, why I like this tripod so much. First of all, it has a crazy awesome story. So last year, when me and my family visited Canada, my great-grandpa gave me this tripod, and he found it in a tree stump, which is just crazy. I never would have thought you could find such an awesome tripod in a tree stump. He was out walking along with one of my cousins, and there's this tree stump, and he like looked, and then he looks down, and there's like this really good-looking tripod. And then he gave it to me because he knew that I made videos, so he was like, well, I might as well give it to Atua because he'll get the most use out of it instead of giving it to someone else. And it is a great tripod. I like it. Folds down into such a tiny little package, so I can put it in my bag, no problem. But also, it extends all the way out until it's the same height as me standing. So I can stand, do talking clips, or be sitting like this and compress it down. So here's a quick look. All right. So here is the tripod. Right now I have this little clamp here where my phone goes. But as you can see, the tripod, this little part extends up. But then these legs, they telescope out into like about that long. So right now I can actually change the angle of these little legs, so I can slide that and then it goes flat, or I can lock the legs in to be more straight up to get different angles. So super versatile tripod. Not even sure what is the brand or name. Oh, that is such a hard name to remember. Let me try to, I'll just read it to you guys. Velbon QHD/43D. Okay, so right there. Super hard name of a tripod to remember, but from all the tripods that I've used and seen, I like this one the most. It is just a great tripod that you can extend it out, and it's super sturdy. So it has a little ball head on the top. It's not a fluid head, but it almost seems like it's made more for a photographer because it doesn't have a little arm that folds out so you can do like nice panning shots. But that's not too big of a deal for me. I can loosen this and kind of like do makeshift pans. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely not a cheap tripod, and I didn't even know about it. But I think if I were to get another one in the future, like if I could get another tripod, I would probably get another one of these because of just the versatility. Seeing does music. Have you ever snapped a board? Yes, I have. I haven't snapped too many boards, but once I went out surfing a longboard from our surf camp that we used to have, and it was, I don't know what I was doing, but it was like a day that wasn't the best to longboard. The waves were like breaking super quickly, and I don't know, I just like did something, wiped out, came up, the board was snapped in half, so it wasn't like a clean snap, but the foam and most of the fiberglass was broken, but the bottom layer of fiberglass was still attached. So I didn't want to just totally break the board apart, so I like went in riding it like in a super awkward way, and then had to carry the like 8-9 foot long board back without breaking it all the way. And I'm pretty sure they were able to fix it and keep on using it. The only bummer is when you fix a board, it does become a bit heavier because you have to add more material to make it stronger, but at least it's still a usable surfboard. Logan Cash, do you skimboard? Yes, yep, sometimes I skimboard. There's this river that certain times of the year it goes right into the ocean, but the way the beach is, it's like a super steep, it's a fairly steep slope, and the river will sometimes be just right. So the water is about this, maybe about this deep, so you can skimboard down the river for a solid 10-20 seconds, like just going, ah! And then you skimboard down the river. Most of the time you hit a rock or something and go flying head first. But sometimes you can get it so you can go, and if the wave just happens to be going right by, you can go like, wah! And just like, boom, launch yourself into the air. Most of the time, it doesn't go that well. You hit a rock or you hit some sand and go flying head first, like I said. But if it works out great, if it works out right, it's super awesome. Tom and Jess. This might be a weird question, but what is your favorite tree to climb? I really enjoy climbing maple trees. That's not a weird question because I never really thought about that. But now that I think about it, a tree that I really like climbing are called almendra trees, and I believe the nut is a type of almond or something. We'll have to show that edible next time I find one in the future. But what's really cool about the trees is they almost have like floors. So there's the tree, which is just like a post right up, but then there's layers of branches. So there's this layer, which has a circle of branches around the post, which you can stand on, hang out there. And then about 5-6 feet higher, there's another circle of a bunch of branches going out in all the directions, which you can stand on and hang out. I have definitely filmed and showed them in many of my videos, and those trees are really fun to climb. There's this other tree that I believe in my last video I climbed, which was very fun to climb. It has tons of different vines, and I believe I was able to poke my head out the top and vlog a bit from up there. But I don't know the name of those trees. I'll have to try to look into that. Vegas film critic. When are you coming back to Vegas? Let's collaborate. That'd be fun to do a collaboration, but I'm not sure when I'm going back to Vegas because, well, of course, it's expensive with the flights and all that. But if next time I'm going, I'll, of course, let you guys know. The Vegas film critic, I'd like to let you know I received your package with the, I don't remember the name on the posters, but you sent me a package all the way down to Costa Rica in like looked like a scroll type tube, and I did receive it. It took a year to get here, and I'll be showing that in one of my, probably my next video. So be look out for that. It's a pretty funny unboxing. So just know I received your package. Thank you very much for it. Susu Kahelo. Do you skateboard? Do I skateboard? Yep, I do skateboard, but not as often as I would like to, because there's not that many places here to skateboard. There's a few people who build like these little private little half pipes, but they're private and you don't want to just like be going to someone's house every week just to go use their ramp. So sometimes we use those, and a lot of the time the rain or something ends up ruining the wood or something. There used to be this well, it wasn't like nice, but there was just this concrete area, and then they built these wooden ramps, which like quarter pipes and little bumps and stuff, which you could move around to do different little tricks and stuff and little boxes to ollie onto. But There were changed owners, the owner of that place, so they ended up closing it down. So me and my friends, we were like, oh, I think they're gonna hopefully open up that skateboarding place, or one day we gotta build this skateboarding place here because there's nowhere to skateboard. And there's not really any like nicely paved roads to just practice ollies on, which would be fun. Ben Copeland, have you ever thought of using a 360-degree camera? Of course, I would be interested in testing out a 360-degree camera. I've seen some very strange-looking images where it looks like the globe is actually a globe in the picture and it looks strange, or pictures where you're like in the picture multiple times, so you can do some pretty interesting stuff. But I have no way of getting one. So I have not seen any place down here selling them, and I can't order one off of Amazon. I only have two GoPros, so if I wanted to use GoPros, I would need like 6 or some crazy contraption to something. But yeah, one day. Athene and Amy, when did you start adventuring? Always adventuring. Adventuring, I would say, isn't necessarily going out somewhere you've never been, exploring, but you could make doing anything into adventuring. So you could make going to the store adventuring, you could think of it as you're adventuring through the store, looking for maybe new snacks that they didn't used to sell, or you're searching for little things that you notice that may be funny or something. So I feel adventuring is more of a mindset, not necessarily like going to this outdoors trail spot and then we're going to adventure here, and then once we're done, the adventure's over. You could technically always be in an adventure. Time-lapse king. What's an ideal vlog? There's no such thing as an ideal vlog. There's vlogs that many people would agree, oh yeah, that was definitely a cool vlog, the editing and the story, super cool. But then to someone else, they'd be like, I don't really like that video because of these reasons. So depending on who you ask, you're gonna get different answers about what is an ideal, perfect vlog. But personally, what I would consider an ideal vlog, where like a video that I would make and I'd be like, okay, I'm proud of this video, I'm super excited to put this up for everyone to see, would be some type of exploration of somewhere that I've never explored, either up a river or some jungly mountain spot where maybe it starts off and then as I'm going, I notice and find little things, and then I find some plant that I've never seen, and then maybe some animal or insect, and then get to this point where I find a wild edible and eat some snacks, and yeah, that would be cool. I feel that would be an ideal vlog. Bobby Ross, how long do you spend outside a day? Pretty much as much time as I can. The only time I'm indoors is when I'm sleeping, when I'm editing a video on my computer or something, and sometimes when I'm eating, to go eat breakfast, lunch, and stuff like that, and then hanging out, sometimes watching a movie. But I try to get out as much as I can, even if it's not out and about. I just come out, just breathe some fresh air, enjoy looking at the plants. Just out. I see a plant over there that looks like there might be some little worm-looking things over there. Later on, I'll have to look into that and see if I can get a nice macro shot of that for maybe a future video. Ramzan Ahmed, is it true that Roman Atwood were meant to come to Costa Rica, and if it were, contact him some weeks after he had his baby, make awesome videos? Yeah, we were actually in contact and talking to Roman Atwood. We had plans for he was going to come down. I believe if he would have come down, it would have been a few weeks ago or a month or so ago. And we're messaging, we had dates, and then all of a sudden he just vanished and stopped messaging, wasn't responding to anything. So we're like, well, it's not the end of the world. It's not that big of a deal. It just fell through. And then from different things like that, I've learned to not get too crazily excited about opportunities that may seem super like too good to be true. Like Roman Atwood coming down here and filming with us, I was like, this just seems too good to be true. So I was like, I'm not gonna just like be like, oh, this is gonna be so awesome, and then this is just gonna be it, and then it falls through, and then you're bummed out. So I was like, if he does end up coming down, that's gonna be fun. But if not, no big deal. I'm gonna continue on doing my thing, and yeah. Ethan Miller, why do you walk barefoot? Barefoot. I just prefer walking around barefoot. I'll like tilt the camera this way a teeny bit. Personally, I like walking around barefoot. Personally, I feel I can climb up stuff and move faster. Sometimes I climb up these like really rocky, or not a bit rocky, but also muddy mountain spots, and if I had shoes, I wouldn't be able to do it, but because I'm barefoot, I'm able to dig my toes and feet into the mud and then kind of use them like picks, climb my way up. Also, I can climb up trees quite a bit easier. I feel like I can grip, and because I don't have shoes, my feet feel lighter, and I feel more free to jump over spots, do stuff, run here and there. But for certain occasions, I do wear shoes. For skateboarding, going to the city, special occasions, certain times I do wear shoes, but I prefer most of the time to be barefoot. KP Vlogs. How do you vlog without a flip-out screen? I don't know. I'm not sure how people do it. There's some really amazing cameras out there, but they don't have a flip-out screen. The Sony a6500, super great camera, but it doesn't have a flip-out screen. Sony a7S, Sony a7R Mark II, super great camera in low light, but doesn't have a flip-out screen. What? I don't know how I would vlog without a flip-out screen. I know you'd get used to it, and I know a lot of people do it. Like, I've seen a lot of Fun for Louie or John Hicks, a bunch of different people, they vlog without a flip-out screen. But I've noticed there's some shots that are just out of focus, but because you don't have a flip-out screen, you don't know. And I feel if you shoot solo, that most of the time when you're out filming or vlogging, it's just you. You don't have someone behind the camera filming you. Having a flip-out screen is so useful and so handy, because if I'm here and I put my camera here, I can flip my screen out and make sure I'm in the right spot, I'm in the frame, I'm in focus, the exposure and the settings are right, the background isn't way brighter than me. Whereas if I didn't have the flip-out screen, I feel personally I would screw up many shots. Now you can get external monitors and stuff like that, but I don't know. You could get an external monitor, or you just learn to make do with it. Latif the Player, what is your favorite sport other than surfing? Well, there's a few different sports that I like doing. Skateboarding, mountain biking. If you consider body surfing a sport, just overall exploring, I find a very nice, I don't think it's considered a sport, but just exploring spots. Even if it's just a spot I've seen a million times, I find it fun to explore. So yeah, probably biking and skateboarding. Mr. Gamer, what knife do you recommend? What knife do I recommend? Well, it's not the best knife, and many people would say, don't get that knife, it's horrible. But years ago, I got one of Bear Grylls' knife. It's the paracord handle knife, and I agree it definitely could be a lot better. I don't think the steel or whatever isn't the best, and many people don't like any of Bear Grylls' stuff. But this was a long time ago when I had no knowledge of brands and what knives would be better, so I got that one. But for just like normal use, I enjoy having a pocket knife, because you can fold it up, of course, put it in your pocket. But it's also, you can put it in your bag. It takes up much less space. Now, if you're doing stuff like batoning wood, or you're going to be like cutting lots of branches, you're going to want a bit of a sturdier knife, maybe a full tang with, where that means the metal, which is the blade, goes through the entire handle. So the metal of the blade is the length of the entire knife. It doesn't just like go partially into the handle and then the rest is just like some plastic, because that seems to be a bit weaker. There's a bunch of different good knives. One that I think looks pretty cool is the Becker knives. The Becker BK7 looks like a pretty good knife, and the Becker BK2 is a pretty cool knife. It's just like a smaller version of the BK7, and it's a bit thicker. So that knife looks cool. And from the reviews that I've seen, it looks like it's a pretty good knife for the price. Now, there's knives that are hundreds of dollars that are going to be better, but it does come at a price. Sandra Moore, what editing do you recommend? Please, anyone. Well, the editing software that I use is Sony Vegas, and many people would agree it's a good software, but it depends on how much you want to spend into a editing software. Of course, many people use Adobe, and then of course there's the free ones like iMovie or Windows Movie Maker, which from what I've seen, it does seem to like to crash sometimes. But if it's free, so if you're able to make videos with that, I think, considering that it's free, it's not bad. And there's some editing softwares that are pretty good that aren't too expensive. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what type of device you have as well. Bobby Ross, do you have a pizza shop near where you live? I was just wondering. Pizza shops. Of course. I have never seen a town that doesn't have a pizza shop. Pizza shop is when someone's going to start up a restaurant, like the first restaurant that is started off as like a pizza place, because everyone likes pizza. There's hardly anyone who doesn't like pizza. And yeah, there's quite a few different pizza shops. But of course, you find your favorite one that has like the nice thin crust with the nice amount of cheese, that doesn't put just way too much cheese or makes the dough way too thick. Of course, it's all preference. But I actually enjoy making our own pizza. My dad knows how to make this pretty good pizza dough, and I think it's pretty good, maybe just as good as some of the restaurants around here. And yeah, a lot of the times we'll do that because we can just hang out at home and watch a movie and then just make the pizzas as we go. Ace in your face. What's the best vlogging camera for a new YouTuber? Written 4 times over and over and over and over. Okay. Of course, as it depends on how much you want to spend. But if you're just like, I just want to get one camera, that I would totally recommend the G7X, because so using a DSLR can be cool if you have an external mic. But what I find is if the external mic is pointing that way, it's like if it's a shotgun mic and I'm talking behind the camera, my voice is totally muffled unless I turn the microphone around so it's pointing at me, which does take a little bit more time. But if you're looking for a camera where you're going to be better to know the settings and you want to be able to manually focus easier, DSLR because the lenses and stuff. But if you're just looking for a point and shoot that you can just take everywhere and be super inconspicuous, DSLR, not the most inconspicuous if you have a lens plus the DSLR body and if you have a microphone. But if you were to just have this without this hand grip, which you don't need to use, but I like it because I can get some nice, low, interesting shots. Super great camera. I enjoy using it very much. Professor_Yoda. How did you afford the G7X? Well, I had to save up for a good amount of time, but also whenever I get money for either my birthday or Christmas or from family members or something, I don't really spend it on anything. I don't spend it on video games or on the newest little gadget things. I enjoy being a minimalist and just having the essential stuff that I need. So I don't, when I'm somewhere and I see something that I think is kind of cool, or a little toy, I don't just buy it, spend the money, and then one day later it just sits on a shelf and I don't use it. I'd rather save up the money, save it up for a year or 2 or 3, and then get myself a camera that I'm going to get a ton of use out of. So that is how I was able to afford it. I guess we might as well talk a little bit about minimalism. Well, the way I look at minimalism is it's not about having a certain amount of items. It's not like you have to only own 100 items and then you are considered a minimalist. It's about just having and keeping and holding on to what you want, what you actually need, and stuff that brings you joy. So if having these 300 different things is you use all of them, then that's you be considered being a minimalist. But I feel not being minimalistic is if you have all this stuff that you just have sitting on a shelf and you don't use it, it just sits there, because why not give it to someone else who is going to use it, and it's going to bring them joy, they're going to get to use it for stuff. And yeah, and plus if it's something that you don't use but it is like fairly brand new, you can always sell it on different platforms and stuff. And like if it's something that's totally good, then you can sell it, and then you can take that money and use it to buy something that you are going to use a lot more. So yeah, that's the way that I look at minimalism. I used to not be a minimalist at all. I would just keep everything, but I enjoy trying to be as minimalistic as I can. What drone would you recommend? Of course, the Mavic, from everything that I've seen, is there's no comparison. There's no other drone that compares to how compact it is. Now, there's other drones that you're going to shoot better video, but they're big and clunky and they don't fit in your backpack easily. Now, the Mavic, I've never used or tested, but from all the videos that I've seen, you can fold it up, it's super compact, you get really good video for the size of it, and yeah, if you're getting one, I would totally recommend it. Hayden Parsons. Atua, I've spent so much money on YouTube and it hasn't paid me back. How do I make money? And if you can, shout me out. Well, Hayden, when you're starting out, don't think about the money, about making money from YouTube. That should just be something that maybe happens in the future, which can help you out getting new equipment to keep on making better videos. But, I'm not really sure exactly. Let me think about this for a second. No, I wouldn't recommend to just do YouTube if you're just doing it to make money, to do other stuff. You should be doing it for something better than that, either because you enjoy using cameras and filming stuff, and then because of that, you just put it up. But you shouldn't be in YouTube I'm just going to make these videos and then just so I can make money. That is not how you should look about it, especially not when you're starting out. Oh, I saw a comment from, where'd it go? Oh, Digital Blast. Hey, how's it going, Digital Blast? I have to leave in a second, but hi, how's it going? Tommaso Guerrieri Vlogs. How did you get subscribers when you first started out YouTube? Well, I seem to get subscribers when I didn't worry too much about getting subscribers, so I would just film videos and put them up and not be too afraid about putting videos up. Well, I find what seemed to work good for me is I would make my videos, my adventures and stuff, but then I would sometimes do videos about a trendy topic or a video that may get more views than my average video. Maybe one about a specific camera or a tip or something. And then that way new people would find my channel through that video, but then they would see my other videos and they'd be like, oh, this kid does some cool adventures. I'm actually going to stick around. So I found that to work good for me. I wouldn't just do videos, trendy videos, but sometimes do videos that maybe include, or I'm talking about something about reviewing a camera. That way new viewers and new people on YouTube could find my channel, and then they would see my other videos and be like, okay, I might stick around. Professor Yoda, how do I get the most out of my GoPro Hero 3? Well, I believe the Hero 3 has Pro Tune. Definitely put it in Pro Tune settings because you have much more control. And then set the ISO to, there's a few videos on YouTube about all the stuff you can do, so probably look it up because it'll be much more in-depth. But what I like to do with my GoPro is set the ISO to a max of 400 or 800 if maybe it's going to be a little bit darker out, because the ISO is just on auto. It'll choose some crazy high ISO and just make your footage grainy. And if it's like dark out, I'm totally fine with my footage being a bit underexposed, because then it kind of represents the moment a bit better. It's like, wow, it's like super dark and kind of hard to see. That's how it was in real life. Like, it was totally dark and kind of hard to see. I don't want it I'd rather it be kind of dark than just too grainy to where it's just like, this is just horrible. Mwawija, do you recommend Canon T5i? Most definitely. It was my first DSLR. Has great features for the price. It's very good. Yeah, very good. All right, guys, so we're already at 47 minutes. So this stream has been very fun, answering questions, talking with you all. Let me guys know if you guys would like me to do more live streams like this one, where I just sit here, we just hang out, talk about stuff, answer questions, and stuff of that nature. Charlie King. Okay, this is the last question. Will you make a montage of your normal day? I have done some day in the life videos. I'm not sure if montage you mean just by like a super fast edit, just like da 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 da, super fast through the day, maybe. But I'll probably do another day in the life video, which I'll try to make as true to a day in the life video, so nothing is like set up to where I'm like, okay, today is the perfect day to do a day in the life because I'm planning on going on this crazy adventure. I'm planning on going. Today we're planning on ordering some food from this restaurant, so maybe try to do some videos with some as close to a real day in the life. Everyone's like, don't leave. Bye to adios, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for sticking around, following these videos. It's very fun getting to do videos, live streams, hang out, talk with all you guys. And yeah, to wrap up this video, I will just point the camera at the view for a few moments. I'm up actually at the Skyloft where the internet is much quicker. I've just been hanging out here, and yep. If that extra electrical wire wasn't there, this would be so much more beautiful. But it's still it's super crazy view. Exactly at 50 minutes, the live stream will end.